Okay, we can get started.
Great. Hi, everyone. It's Marianne Meskis, the Executive Director of the Dravet Syndrome Foundation. We know that sharing the patient experience and the many unmet needs of our community is really vital to continuing to raise awareness of Dravet syndrome and get more people involved in our cause. So we're excited to have our community here today joining us for this webinar on how to share your stories on social media. And I'll let Julia take it from here.
Thank you. Thanks, Marianne. Thanks everyone for being here today. Thanks to everyone on the recording. And we're going to get started, and I will definitely take questions. You can use the Q&A function if you see it on your taskbar. If you put it in the chat, that's fine too. I'll probably see it, but Q&A is easier to keep track of. This will be recorded. You will get the slides, and you'll have access to that. And Marianne will send out an email sometime this week about how to access that. So yesterday we talked about effective storytelling, sort of collecting and crafting your stories so that they have the biggest impact. And today we'll focus on sharing your stories on social media. So they kind of go hand in hand. And if you didn't come yesterday, if you did, quick slide, quick review. I am a mom of two. I've worked with the Dravet Syndrome Foundation for quite a few years now. I've been a former development and marketing director for very small nonprofits. Storytelling and social media are my passion. I think they go together like peanut butter and, I was going to say peanut butter and jelly, but peanut butter and chocolate I think is better. I host the Nonprofit Nation podcast, and I'm really passionate about the power of storytelling, especially on digital channels, to really shift the narrative, change hearts and minds, and inspire transformation around certain issues. And yesterday we talked about how to frame stories, collect and craft stories. But the objective of really both the webinars together, really, we want to empower you to be more confident in developing and sharing your personal stories, because the overarching theme here, there's nothing more powerful than the patient voice. Today, we'll talk about the best strategies to really amplify your story on various channels, events and awareness days to note, and how to start a Facebook or Instagram fundraiser. So what really works on social media? Oh, I absolutely love this. This little girl snuggling with her blankie. What works? Personal accounts and storytelling. I also love the little heart emoji, meet Andy. What really makes me feel, it makes me feel warm, and it makes me feel like it's a part of my feed. It doesn't look like an ad. It's not an ad. It doesn't look like a promotion. It looks like something that's supposed to be in my feed. It looks like something my friends would post, that my family would post. And those personal accounts really help the almighty algorithm on Facebook and Twitter, which is the science and the data behind what gets seen when and what shows up in your newsfeed on a daily basis. Statistics and data on the problem also works well, showing me that this is a problem that needs to be solved. This is something that's urgent. This is something that's relevant. This is something that a lot of families are experiencing. Video, photos, animation, anything to catch the eye, anything colorful, anything with people. Video and animated GIFs, those work really well to kind of stop the scroll, because our eyes are just attuned to movement. We see movement and we think, oh, we don't know what it is, and we want to get a feel for what it is. So if there's movement when I'm kind of scrolling Facebook on my phone, I'm much more likely to stop and pay attention. Also, questions. I love these questions that really elicit that community engagement, because to me, social media should be about creating a community, whether it's on your personal profile, whether it's on a Facebook page, but creating that group of people, that network, that choir, if you will, that you can preach to, that's going to help you really get new people into the choir. So how do you and your warrior like to spend time together? Love that. What advice do you have for newly diagnosed families? Asking for advice is actually really helpful. People love to share advice. They actually really like to share their input. They like to share their experiences. and asking them for advice is really kind of bringing them in, asking any kind of question that you want. I like these graphics because it takes the text and it just gives it, first of all, it's kind of branded with the logo, obviously the colors and the font. So when I see it in my feed, I know that it's a Dravet fact. I know that it has to do with Dravet syndrome. So it's just, consistency is really important, but creating these kind of graphics, sharing something with me that might surprise me. I mean, I did not know that the rate of sudden unexpected death in epilepsy for Dravet syndrome is 3 times higher than those living with epilepsy. That's not something that I knew. So sharing things that people might not know, surprising statistics, seizures that last for hours, just the thought, like wrapping my brain around that, because this is not something that I experience personally. So sharing these with your network, sharing these with your friends and family can really go a long way. Sandra says, are those graphics available for us to share? Yes, these were on, I believe, either the Instagram account or the Facebook page. So you can go to their Facebook page and just click share and share them. I think you can also probably save them to your desktop and share them that way. So definitely, it's a great question. Okay. What also works on social media in terms of framing your story? So succinct tends to work best. You want to put the most important stuff, information, identifying details up in the first 2 rows or the first, 180 characters, because of course it's going to be cut off and someone will have to click more on Instagram, on LinkedIn. They'll have to click that on Facebook as well. So succinct tends to work best. You can write a long caption on Instagram. Long captions can work, but remembering that people are on their phone, people are busy, you want to put that important information up at the very, very beginning. The real key is to just be real and authentic. That is definitely something that's hugely powerful, especially right now when there are so many bots and there are so many spam accounts and so many like fake influencers. We really want to connect with real people in all their messy glory. Each platform, so each channel is its own country with its own language, etiquette, best practices, audience, strengths, weaknesses. So what works on TikTok is not necessarily what works on Facebook. What works on LinkedIn is not necessarily what works on Twitter. So you can have the same story and the same photo, maybe a little bit of the same video, but you do need to mold it for the platform that you're sharing it to. And of course, visuals are imperative to stop the scroll. People don't usually look at social media a lot from their desktop. They're normally on the phone. So the majority of people accessing social media are using it from the mobile apps. And that means there's probably a lot going on around them. So we need to cut through that clutter and grab that attention. Videos are the most highly engaged with type of content. The highly polished and edited videos, those work maybe on YouTube, but they certainly are not going to work on like Instagram stories or TikTok. People like amateurish videos. They like short videos. They like not polished, very real, very authentic videos. And, just to reiterate my point about the platforms being completely different, I don't think you need to be on every platform. You have to make that decision personally and professionally. I think that being on one platform and doing it really well, and one platform that you really enjoy, that's better than spreading yourself too thin on 27 different platforms. So for me, I actually am tending to spend more time right now. I spend more time on LinkedIn. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I just happen to really like those two and gravitate toward those two. I'm not spending a lot of time on Facebook. I'm not really spending a lot of time anymore on Pinterest. So you need to figure out what you like and what works for you and what works for your personality, your network, and the people that you are trying to connect with. So some tips for posting. I think what really works well is giving us a behind the curtain glimpse. Like, what is everyday life like for you? What is your lived experience? What are some things that I might not know about what happens just every single day? And it's really important to know that while we do want to use these platforms to encourage our networks and raise money during our fundraising campaigns, it really doesn't have to all be fundraising. In fact, it shouldn't. You can use the power of social media tools to build a community and create empathy by sharing these little moments and these little anecdotes. It doesn't have to be all 100% laser focused on, give money, give money. It really can be to raise awareness and to help people understand more about Dravet syndrome and what life is like living with it or having a family member that has it. When you are picking a platform, a best practice is to use all the features of each platform. So for example, if you're on Facebook or on Instagram, use stories. That's one of the most popular features on the platforms. That's where vertical video works really best. Horizontal video works best for the news feed. Keep things short, sweet, to the point. When you're sharing video, and we actually talked about this in yesterday's session, you want to grab that attention in the first frame or the first sentence of your caption. You want to make sure you're not saying that you don't have titles and there's not a lot of white space and there's not 5 seconds of silence when you start the video. You want to start the video or start the caption off kind of, with a bang. So, this is the Rosie's Place in Boston. And you can see they're really just documenting. They were on International Women's Day. They wanted to raise some money, but it wasn't really a big fundraising campaign. They sent an email, they posted on Instagram, and they had their Instagram donate sticker. And they were sort of capitalizing on International Women's Day to raise some money. You need to tell people though, that this is an option. If you are on Instagram and you want to add this donate sticker, telling people and explaining to them that this is an option is really important. We can't assume that people know that they can give directly through these channels. So when you give through the Instagram donate sticker, you're giving through the platform. It's not going to a website. It's not going to an outside donation page, but it is going to the charity that you've identified. So here, this is, the British Heart Foundation. And then on the right-hand side, the ALS Association. So awareness months, any kind of giving month, Giving Tuesday, we'll talk about awareness months, really fantastic to capitalize on these different platforms because people are talking about those things and we want them to be talking about it. So some events and awareness days to highlight, especially for this community, is March, Give Up Your Cup, of course. June, Dravet Awareness Month. That is such a huge month. I would love to just see all of social media flooded with stories, flooded with memories, flooded with information. I think awareness months really give us permission to start, beat the drum of our cause and our industry and what we're trying to do and showcase the great work that's being done, but talk about all that's left to be done. Talk about what's still needed and why this, yes, we've made a lot of accomplishments. Yes, we are doing a lot of fantastic things. We're achieving a lot, but there's still a long road ahead. There's still a long journey ahead. June 23rd, anytime there's an international day or an awareness day, you want to make sure that you're posting about it. Everyone in your community is posting about it, sharing your story, sharing your journey on that day. Giving Tuesday, that is a really powerful day for fundraising. And what I love about Giving Tuesday, a lot of people do share their personal stories. They say, this is a day to raise awareness about the importance of giving and giving back, because we have Black Friday, we have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then we have Giving Tuesday. So let's talk about the importance of giving back. And this is a cause that I care about And this is why I'm giving to them on Giving Tuesday. This is why you should pay attention to this cause on Giving Tuesday. And then November, the turkey trot, the dash for Dravet, and then steps for a cure. So if you're thinking about, well, I don't know when to post, I don't know what dates to post, these are some events and awareness days for you to highlight. And then Giving Tuesday is November 29th this year. There are so many free resources. You can see how to participate in Giving Tuesday for individuals, for NGOs, for companies and brands. There's toolkits that you can download for youth and families, small businesses. I actually really like the toolkit for individuals. It'll give you a lot of ideas for what things that you can do, start a fundraiser, give to your favorite cause, volunteer, encourage others. So take a look at Giving Tuesday. And there's some simple ways to spread the love on social media, some social media messages, if you're not really sure what to write for each platform. So I actually really, I love this. So this is going to be in the slides. Just go to givingtuesday.org, click on resources, and you're going to find all of these different fantastic free resources that they have. So, are there other dates and milestones that we can celebrate? That's something else that you want to think about. Maybe you have a personal, a birthday, an anniversary, a different milestone that you want to mark that's important to you. So it might not be an International Awareness Day, but there might be something that's really important to you and your family, that's really important to the people around you. So really be strategic. Think about the other dates, the other milestones that you can celebrate and mark on social media. All right, so Facebook and Instagram fundraising. Now, you can, as an individual, start a Facebook fundraiser or an Instagram fundraiser for the Dravet Syndrome Foundation. So the benefits of starting a fundraiser on Facebook is that they don't take any fees. And also, Facebook loves their own little donate button. They don't really like sending people off the platform. You certainly can. If you want to raise money in some other way, you can do that, but it's not going to get as much reach and it's not going to get as much exposure as it will if you're using the integrated tools that Facebook has, the Facebook charitable giving tools. Any individual at any time can start a fundraiser. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to register. You can start a fundraiser for a registered charity at any time. So it makes it easy for the donor to quickly contribute $5, $10, $25 within the app without going to another page. People can start fundraisers. You can put the donate button on your profile page. You can add the donate button to individual posts. And the best part I think about Instagram and Facebook fundraising is the ability for people, if they don't want to give, they're learning about an organization that means something to one of their friends. So whenever I see my friends, I'm a sucker for a Facebook fundraiser. Whenever I see one of my friends raising money, I always donate, almost always, because I know how hard it is to fundraise and ask for money, but also they're putting themselves out there. It's really putting yourself out there and saying, this is a cause that's important to me. And if you can support this in any way, it would be really appreciated. And here's my connection to it. I know my friend Bonnie, her father died of a brain tumor. She always has a post on International Brain Tumor Awareness Day, raising money for a certain organization. I have friends who've had mothers, aunts, sisters die of breast cancer. During Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always raising money. So you see what's important to your friends and family, but it also raises awareness of the cause and raises awareness of the issue. People that might never have heard of Dravet syndrome, and I know you get that all the time. I'm sure you get that all the time. What is that? They might click on it. They might learn a little bit more about it. All of this adds up. those little seeds, those little kernels of awareness, and then potentially they might become donors. So to start a Facebook fundraiser, you click on this link up at the top, facebook.com. That's my friend Amanda, just ignore her. Dravet Syndrome Foundation /fundraisers. And this is where you can make a donation yourself, or you can raise money. You can see everybody else's fundraisers so that you can get some inspiration and get some ideas. Birthday fundraisers, Anna's fundraiser, like there's so many great people starting fundraisers. Look at this, it's so exciting. So you can get some inspiration, and then it's very easy. You click raise money, and then they will give you, this is their cover photo. So it'll be automatically populated. You can always change that. You can change the name. So you can say, for my birthday, I want a world without Dravet, something like that. So you can personalize that. When should your fundraiser end? How much money? They default to $200. You can change that to any amount that you want. And then they have this little default, why are you raising money? And this is going to be from the about section of the DSF page. But what I recommend is telling a little bit of a personal story to start, because we know people are probably only going to read the first 2 sentences of this, and then talk a little bit about what the money goes towards. And then you can create it. And this is what it's going to look like. It's very easy to share on your profile. You can share it in an email. You can share it, pretty much everywhere, anywhere that you want to share it. The key here is people do have to have a Facebook account to make a donation via Facebook. What I would say is, if you do have another way that you're raising money, another platform, put that in the information too, so people can send it to other people that don't maybe have Facebook accounts. But it's really simple. You can start it from your phone too. You don't have to start it from the desktop. You start from your phone. Choose your goal, choose the date, and then just remember, you can't save it as a draft. It starts when you hit create. It starts. People will see it in your news feed. People will get notified. Make sure that the title is interesting. I guess you could say Julia's birthday fundraiser. I like to give it a title that's different from everybody else's, so it stands out a little bit. If you can be creative with the title, that's fine. And then the personalized description about what the cause means to you. And then the key here is you're going to set it up, but you're not just going to forget it. You have to share. Invite your friends, share to your profile in a week or a few days, remind people. It's just going to be, you're going to share it again and say, just a quick reminder, I'm raising money for my birthday. Here's why. Give updates. You can always say, thank you so much to Julia for giving $10. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much to XYZ friend or family member. Give regular updates on the fundraiser and what's going on. It's just really important that people feel like they're part of something. They feel like they're constantly reminded, because sometimes, to be honest, I'll see a fundraiser and I'll say, okay, well, I'm just going to wait till the reminder, because I know I'm going to get a reminder. I just did that. I just did that with an email from my daughter's school about the book fair that's in 2 weeks. I was like, okay, I'm just going to delete that one because I know I'm going to get 5 more emails. Sometimes people need to be reminded. They need to see things a bunch of times. Fundraising tips for the non-fundraiser. Sharing your personal story of why you're connected to the cause, why you're raising money, and what it means to you. Inviting your friends so people can easily find your fundraiser without having to search in their news feeds. That means sending them a message, maybe on Messenger. And then encourage sharing. Say, hi, everyone. I'd love if you could share this with 2 or 3 of your own friends. And then engaging your community by posting updates, posting photos, posting statistics, those little graphics with the data and the surprising statistics about Dravet, like the seizures that last hours, all of that goes a long way. You don't have to post, and I don't recommend posting the same caption word for word verbatim every time. You've got to mix it up a little bit. You've got to say different things in your updates. Your friends are much more likely to donate and to share your fundraiser if you keep them engaged, if you keep sharing things like this. And then the top fundraisers post at least twice a week. So say your fundraisers last a month, you would post maybe once or twice a week, letting people know it's still going on, letting people know what the goal is, and letting people know why it's so important that they participate. Now on Instagram has donation stickers within Instagram stories, and that allows just absolutely anybody to alert people and raise money. So if you look at your Instagram stories, if you click on the sticker button at the top of your profile, you click the plus button and then choose story. And then you can take a photo, a video, you can add one that's already in your camera gallery. You can then add stickers, text, music, GIFs, and more. And you can add the donate sticker. Now, for our purposes today, like normally I talk to nonprofits that are not necessarily signed up for these tools, but we know the Dravet Syndrome Foundation signed up for all these tools. So you as an individual or as a group, you can just add the sticker very easily to any story that you post, to any post on Instagram, because in the background, the foundation already has that all set up. Another way to raise money is through live donations. This is really popular. So Instagram allows you to go live and you can launch your fundraiser while you're using the live stream functionality. And it's very simple. It's if you want to go live, you set up a live broadcast. You just are telling people, hi, it's Julia. This year for my birthday or this year for Dravet Awareness Month, I really would like to raise money. I'd love to see a world without Dravet. Here's my story. Here's my daughter's story. Here's why we're raising money. Here's what it means to us. And then you select the fundraiser option. And when your broadcast begins, it will actually be almost like a little updated screen. You can see here, if you can see live fundraiser for the United Nations Foundation, it'll show you the amount. It'll show you the number of donations. And when people come into the live stream, you can say their name. You can give them a shout out. You can say, thank you so much for coming. Share this with your friends. Tell other people that we're doing this. And the platform provides an option for breaking down these stats. And then you can really showcase people. You also can create a fundraiser in the news feed, which I think is really cool. This is on Instagram. If your profile is public, then your fundraiser will be visible to anyone. But if your profile is just set to, your friends and family, then they will be able to see you, only people that follow you. So many options to raise money on Facebook and Instagram. It's actually really, really cool. You can even add it to Reels. So this is more technically what you need to do to create the personal fundraiser. And let's see, all fundraisers, you go through a review process, but like I said, the foundation has already been approved to use all of these features. They've been approved by Facebook, which of course owns Instagram. So you just have to go through and you have to click on the Dravet Syndrome Foundation from a list of eligible nonprofits. And this is the way it looks. And then for your friends and family that want to donate, they click donate. In 2 clicks, they can donate $20, $10, no fees, and it all goes to the foundation. Of course, you can fundraise on other platforms if you have a link. So if you have a link to a donation page, because LinkedIn does not have a donate button yet, Twitter does not have a donate button yet. TikTok has donation stickers, but only for really, really large nonprofits. They're still kind of testing it out. So if you have a link to an outside donation page, you can put it on other platforms. You could put your Facebook fundraiser link on Twitter, but people might not be on Facebook. You understand? They might just be on Twitter. Using video to showcase your story, so powerful. You can do it. I mean, if you look at the most popular videos on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they are people, they're talking, they're off the cuff, they're people running into the water. This is actually where I live, like in Beverly, Massachusetts, people just having fun. There's thank yous. Thank you for donating. You can use your smartphone to make all of these. When I say native video, I mean a video that lives on social media. It doesn't live anywhere else. It like is taken inside Facebook, taken inside Instagram, taken inside Twitter. As long as they are short, poignant, authentic, thanking people, giving people updates, and asking for an action. That's key. So you want to tell your story, but if you're doing fundraising, you don't have to do fundraising. You can just tell your story. But if you're doing fundraising, you want to make sure you're asking. Look at this, donate $5 to support Abby's 5 years of fighting. That's the call to action. Barbara shares his extraordinary story, and the call to action is to click on the blog post. So whatever it is, whatever that call to action is, make sure it's very specific. Read more about Wes and share your own or your child's milestone with us here. So make sure people know what to do next. From my initial experience as a Make-A-Wish volunteer and now as the parent of a seriously ill child, I truly understand the incredible role Make-A-Wish can play in a family's life. What are those quotes? You can just have a quote. It's not even necessarily a fully fleshed out story. Support Andrew's hike at, and then the link. So how do you say thank you to the people who give to your fundraiser? Well, there's a few ways. Just make a graphic. Thank you for supporting my fundraiser. I exceeded my goal. Thank you for being generous. Today, we're grateful to you. It could be just you holding a sign that says thank you. Clearly holding the letters thank you are very popular these days. And I shared this yesterday, but however you want to say thank you, however it makes sense to you. You can take a video, a long form video. You can just create a simple graphic, and all of that works really well. Oh, okay. So I know that we're at the half an hour mark, but I did want to give a few tips about getting press coverage and visibility. So the key here, and I study journalism, and I do talk to journalists a lot about covering nonprofit stories. The key here, you need to convey that you're doing something innovative or something different. There has to be that hook or that angle. You need to convey, thought leadership, like we are the go-to resource. We're knowledgeable, we're accessible, we have great stories. This is relevant and urgent. So having a fundraiser is not necessarily urgent and relevant. The media needs to understand why this, why now. So this is where statistics come in. This is where your best stories come in, because reporters are always asking why now. They're looking for timeliness. They're looking for social proof. And if you read the stories that do get press coverage. So I recommend reading a lot of local news. I read the Boston Globe, I read the New York Times, but I also read local news. It's always around a story. There's always a story. They don't want to say, oh, this local organization is having a fundraiser. It's, 25-year-old Christina. Can't believe how far she's come in the past 4 years. During that time, she's gone from jail to working full-time as a medical assistant and living with her 3 kids. There's that hook. There's that, oh, I want to know more. I want to know more. And if you took the webinar yesterday, I talked about creating that hook, creating that character, creating the stakes, creating those descriptive details, because that's what's really going to hook people. It can't just be a statement of, this is what is going on. This is what happened. So think like a journalist, you better than anyone else. You have your ear to the ground. You know what's going on. You have your finger on the pulse. What's trending? What's interesting? Pay attention to other news stories. where you really feel like you can fit in, especially coverage about COVID, coverage about masking in schools, coverage about healthcare, really important stuff that affects your community. How can you leverage those national news stories and insert your viewpoint? And then where to look? Everywhere you already are. HARO is a really great resource. Help a reporter out. It's a listserv of reporters who are looking for experts on certain topics, and you can sign up for that, and then contact those reporters when they have a question. Some tools that you can use. These are really my two favorite. Canva, I'm sure most of you use. Canva.com/nonprofits. Nonprofits get a discount and get a free premium account. And then Animoto is my favorite for video, to piece together different things. Those are my absolute go-to. Can't live without tools. And a lot of the national organizations use those too, surprisingly. Okay, so I know there's a lot of information. I want to make sure that I get to questions. Oh, and I see Jennifer has a question. For Facebook and Instagram, can you set up a fundraiser on one and share on both, or do you have to go through extra steps for each individually? Yes, you have to go through steps. So the Facebook fundraiser lives on Facebook and is all through Facebook. And the Instagram fundraiser, because even though they're owned by Meta, they are still distinct platforms. So the Instagram fundraiser, it goes all through Instagram. So you would, if you are interested in doing a Facebook one and an Instagram one, you do have to set them up on both platforms as an individual. So I hope that makes sense. All right. So I know I went over my time. Let me see. If there are any other questions, let me know. I will put my email into the chat.
And Julia, while you're doing that, two things came to mind when you were speaking for me. One of them, the timing is ironic because I was doing some websites updates earlier, and we hear all the time from families, they really are burdened with the day-to-day care of their loved one.
Yes.
The idea of fundraising is so overwhelming. But last year in 2021, we had 419 fundraising campaigns that raised $158,363. So that's enough to fund a 2-year research grant. So I think it's really important for families to understand, if you're raising $50, if you're raising $1,000, cumulatively, those effects are so powerful.
Absolutely. I think that, over $5 billion total have been raised through Facebook fundraisers. And I think it's just a huge amount of money that's causing huge shifts in programs and services. But yeah, that's not a number to sneeze at. Every little tiny bit counts. And, if people don't want to start that $200 limit, you could do $100. You could do $50, like you said, but every little bit, and it's discretionary, it's not earmarked for anything. There's no fees, and the foundation can do anything, anything that it wants with that money. So I just think, and I know that the power of these tools is just that the platforms love them. So if you have a fundraiser, Facebook will show it to more people because they love their little baby tools, and they want you to stay on their platform and use their ecosystem of charitable giving tools. So they're going to show it to more people. And they're going to help expand that generosity. So yeah, I would encourage everyone to just experiment with it, try it out, or even just look at, go to that page and look at what everyone else is doing. The second you set up a fundraiser, I should actually mention, it is public. It's 100% public. So that's something that you might want, if you're concerned about, there are people that you don't want to know that you're raising money. I don't know. That might be a concern for some people, but automatically they're public. You can look at anyone else's fundraisers and donate. They can donate to you. I just think it's a really great resource. Okay. So yes, Lori, the recordings will be sent to you. Georgia says, do you have any recommendations about how to learn more about posting more sophisticated posts for those of us who haven't grown up with social media? I think that sophisticated, I think as long as you are speaking authentically and from the heart. My only recommendation is don't use all caps. Check your spelling and grammar and punctuation. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just, I would really just speak from the heart. Tell your story, say what you want to say in an authentic way. And, the sophisticated posts, it's people that have really been doing that for years and years and years. I mean, it's a skill that you develop. It's a skill that is learned by looking at a lot of posts. What I do is I take a lot of screenshots. I have a whole Google Drive of screenshots, and I just learn from what other people are doing. And I kind of emulate it and adapt from that. So Barbara says, don't you feel like people are hesitant to donate through social media like Facebook with regards to identity theft and privacy? Is it prudent to include a direct link to the organization in that case so people have the option? I think that younger people have absolutely no problem donating through Instagram and Facebook because of the convenience. And if you think about it, everything that we do on our phone, Amazon, 2 clicks, Uber Eats, DoorDash, I'm thinking my mobile app for my bank, everything, Venmo, every single thing that a lot of people generations are doing now is on their phone with 2 clicks. So I actually think the convenience is a huge draw for people. But yeah, there are some people that are never going to give online. There are some people that are never going to give on Facebook, and that's completely fine. But I think increasingly people are paying bills online. People are, like I said, using Venmo, PayPal, using those mobile payment options. But, certainly I would, if someone has an issue, I would definitely put a link, or you could put a link in your fundraiser and say, if you'd rather give here, then go here. I think giving people all the options possible to donate is the best way to go. But if they're on Facebook already, giving them that option. And then if they prefer, certainly having another option available is good to have too. Okay. Oh, let me see. Oh, and Jennifer says, any perspective on how caregivers can think about the balance of the privacy of your child while advocating and sharing their story publicly? I don't know, Marianne, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I think everybody has their own comfort level with that. And I know some caregivers might include a photo of their child when they're holding the child with their face facing away from the camera. I agree. If you can include some type of photo, I think it is more impactful, but I think you have to balance what's right for you and your family as well.
I would look at what celebrities do. They never share their kids' faces. They either put like an emoji over their face or like do what you said, Marianne, they're holding them. I'm thinking of Weird Al specifically, very randomly. And Rihanna and no, not Rihanna, not Kim Kardashian. I can't remember. Some big celebrity. They always are holding, maybe Busy Phillips, always holding their children where the back is facing. But also you can share a photo of a butterfly. You can share a photo of a tree. You could share a photo of like the kid's shoes or a toy or something like that. It doesn't have to be like the face. If you're concerned about privacy, there are ways that you can share a photo that's still pretty evocative with the story that still protects the person's privacy. But that's a great question. All right. Well, I think we're at time. Thanks everyone for participating today. These were wonderful questions, and you're going to get the slides, the recording. And actually I can give everyone a copy of the chat if they want to check out the questions. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to email me and get in touch. But thank you so much. This is it's just so important. And it's not for the faint of heart. We know fundraising and putting yourself out there, but I think it's incredibly important. So I just applaud everyone that wants to learn about it.
Great, and thanks. And the one thing I would add is it still feels overwhelming to you. That's the last thing that we want. Yes. So you can even start off slow, where we have a great social media team. Just sharing our messages really helps amplify the effect, and we are able to touch more people through those efforts as well.
Exactly. Never underestimate just going to the foundation's Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, sharing a post. That absolutely helps, and every little bit of amplification helps. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Take
Bye-bye.
care.